If you get to the end of the day and you can't remember what you did, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. The reason why is your number of the day. The Burger King order was so unusual, the drive-through cashier said, I gotta talk to my manager. But what happened next, I think, is gonna make you smile. How to avoid that, ooh, I shouldn't have sent that email feeling for the rest of your life. And why it's good to dream big. It's your daily joy scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is...
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself when you get to the end of the day and you go, what did I do? I'm not quite sure. This is why you have those moments, those days. We spend about 47% of our waking life mind wandering when you are mostly somewhere other than the present. And I think God put that in our lives, in our hearts, to dream. You can always dream, no matter your age, no matter your resources. God has put that desire in your heart for a reason.
When I was 50 years old, God opened the door for my dream to become a nurse practitioner. And I didn't even have my nursing degree. And so I'm 55 now. And then when I was so tired, I thought I could never even make it through. God carried me. And I just want people to keep pursuing their dream no matter what age they are.
What did we learn today?
Here are some great reflections to wrap up the week and ask them around the dinner table or on your socials. It's your food for thought. Here's some Friday reflections with the acronym TGIF, of course. What did you try this week? What are you grateful for? What inspired you? And what was fun this week? I think it's okay if kids have the same answers as adults for what was fun this week. For me, usually, most weeks, it's getting through it.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
Cody was one of those family dogs that would always put a smile on your face every time you saw him, would give you the big, sloppy, wet kiss. And so when he started to have issues, his family was concerned, brought him to the vet, and found out that he had about a month to live. And so the vet said, bring Cody home, give him this medicine every night for the pain, and just treasure every moment you have left. So they decided to make a little event out of giving Cody the medicine every night. They'd go to Burger King and order one plain burger for Cody's medicine. Now, the cashier laughed at that. It was kind of a weird order, one plain burger. When they explained more, the cashier said, hold on, I need to talk to my manager for a moment. So they pull up to the window, and the cashier said, every time Cody needs a burger, please come back and we will give him one free of charge. And here's to hoping that Cody has many more free burgers in his future. There was a woman who had tried everything to get better, but every time she went to a doctor, it got worse. She'd heard about Jesus and thought, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. So she fights these massive crowds to get next to Jesus. She makes it to his cloak, and as soon as she makes contact with it, she is instantly healed. Her faith healed her because she didn't think it was silly or pointless to bring her problem that nobody else could fix to Jesus. I have never understood this. When you go to the beach, you go to get some sunscreen. Why is it so expensive? This could be part of it. That there's certain ingredients that you can't get in America that's not approved that they've been using in places like Europe for years. Well, it just changed. One of those ingredients is now approved for sunscreen here in America, and I hope it means that I pay less than $15 for a 2-pack of the only kind of sunscreen I'll buy, the spray stuff. Don't give me the lotion that gets greasy all over your hands. Just let me spray once and be done. If you're working and you're just firing off email after email, do you ever have one of those moments where you go, oh, I didn't want to send it to that person? Well, here's how to avoid that and level up your life. Work from the bottom of the email to the top. So start with the body, then the subject, and then finish with the to field. So you won't be able to have that, oh, I shouldn't have sent it moment, because if you hit send before you're ready, there's no one to send it to. Now, I still don't have a great solution on how to remember to send attachments, but at least this takes care of part of the problem. Thinking, planning, and preparing are all well and good, but none of those things actually fulfill your purpose. You know what you have to do to fulfill that purpose? You have to act. And here's the good news. God doesn't tell you to overthink everything. He just says, obey, to hear his call, accept his instructions, and get to work. And Jesus shares a story about this in the Bible, where there was a father and he had two sons. He said, all right, go to work. The first son said, no, I don't want to work. Then he changed his mind later and went and did what the father asked him. The other one said, yeah, I'll go. Absolutely. Let's go, Dad. But then he never did the work he committed to. And so Jesus asks this crowd, he says, which one of the two did what the father wanted? The answer, of course, was the first son. The second son said all the right things, but he never acted. It's not too late to change your mind and follow God. And it looks like you've got a text from God. Seek me from where you are. Come with your whole heart. Don't hold anything back. You will find me. It is good to dream big, not only because it says in the Bible that God's able to do infinitely more than you can ever ask or imagine, but one of the guys that founded Google talked about it in a commencement speech.
I think it is often easier to make progress on mega ambitious dreams. Since no one else is crazy enough to do it, you have little competition. In fact, there are so few people this crazy that I feel like I know them all by first name. They all travel as if they are pack dogs, and they stick to each other like glue. The best people want to work on the big challenges.
Some people have a hard time trusting God, and this is going to seem silly, but when you're in that situation, you can actually ask God to help you trust Him more by simply saying and praying, hey God, thank you for who you are. Today, help me to trust my life to you. Show me what I need to let go of and hand over to you. And remind me that no matter my situation, you are with me. If you are in high school, no, it does get better. Liz said, I remember when I was 15, all my friends, we'd go to put on drugstore makeup, straighten our hair for 2 hours, only to have an average looking boy who was failing biology ignore us at the high school football game. I remember thinking, when things would happen, especially because I had a lot of bad relationships with girls, when one would end poorly, how mad I would get. And I remember one time I just took it out on my basketball hoop and just totally destroyed it. And I think the anger that I had in those moments, I just didn't have any perspective that this is just such a little thing and this too shall pass. Getting older is a funny thing because there isn't just one moment where you are all of a sudden, out of touch. You can just be living life thinking that you're hip and you're with it, and then you see a headline that you have no idea what it's trying to say. For example, headline, streamer Clavicular is hosting a $300 looks maxing masterclass in Miami that will have Mog battles for attendees. And here's the point I am at my life. I don't know what any of that means, and I don't want to take the time to find out. Maybe you've heard that hitting the gym, eating well is going to help you live longer lives, and you think, I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, I'll try, of course. It's tough. But here's some good news for you. The real key to longevity, keeping a healthy mind and embracing a positive outlook. And I think it makes me think of that verse in the Bible that talks about that we're not supposed to conform to the pattern of this world, which, by the way, right now is not so happy, not so positive, pretty fearful. It says, but what do we do instead? We are transformed. Let God transform us into a new person by changing the way we think. This is the good news, too, for you, that you don't have to try to do this alone. It's going to take God's help.